YouTube people. Let's see. Hey there, people out there on YouTube. This is Grumlock God, and I have got. There's really not much going on because I haven't put out a video in a while, and that's because I don't really have that many subscribers. And if I had, I don't really make anything because I don't have enough views. I get maybe 6 views out of everything, so it's not like I have some major thing to do. But I like doing this, and also I do have some people that are actually we communicate on Facebook and stuff like that, and you know, I supply parts and they give me parts and stuff like that for a lot of things. And today is one of those days where I'm going to just kind of thank some people for a lot of things and everything else that have come along, and show some things off that I got. And the first thing I got to realize is that I got a Canadian friend just made on Facebook. It's going to be sending me a one of the tape deck things for the G1. Got it off of them. So it's kind of from Canada. I think it's under a guy named Daniel W. On the other hand, I have to give really thanks to a guy named Frank. I hope you don't mind me saying that. I don't know any other name, just know it's known as Frank. And he sent me the last parts of Ultra Magnus. And I really, you know, I'm really saying, hey, thank you. Matter of fact, I was talking to you on there and everything else, and I don't know if you'd be interested, but there is this, this here goes to a Gundam wing, and I don't know if you collect those or not like that, but for giving me the parts of Ultra Magnus, pretty much anything out of the G.I. Joe stuff I got there, you know, or whatever I can help you find, you know, as far as I think you were looking for legs for a Jazz, for the G1 Jazz and everything else, I'll definitely keep my eye open for it, but I really appreciate it. It helped me complete the Ultra Magnus, which I've already went ahead and colored in the head on them, and everything else. It gave me the top part and everything. I appreciate it. And also a new head down here because the tabs are broken. I'm not going to scroll it off because these are old. I actually used the fist off of another one, grinded them off, and actually made fist to put on the front of them. And you don't usually have a sword. But that's the way I like them, you know. And I was missing the big head, and I got it, and I appreciate that, Frank. Let's see. Now there is Fred on Facebook. I actually sent him some things, some G.I. Joe parts and everything else, and there's no big deal. Everybody on a lot of times I run into people, they send stuff because, you know, there's people that go through some things like I got right now. We just went through Hurricane Florence, and we have the rivers that are actually flooding right now here at the Lynch's River and the PD. And I mean, they're really 1 mile this way, 1 mile that way. And I got the high ground here at this area, so I'm actually fine. But I did have to clear out a lot of trees. A lot of stuff fell down. I just cleared some this morning. I'm not feeling too great from that, but yeah. So we got that taken care of. But he sent me this back to Frank with Ultra Magnus. He sent it to me. I appreciate it and everything else. But you didn't charge me on it and everything else, but I feel like I owe you. So whatever I can do to pay you back for that, I really appreciate it. And then that leads me back to Fred. And I sent you the stuff, and I was like, don't worry about it, you know, because again, collectors and everything else, a lot of times I just want to place things to have a home. I don't want them to be, I don't want somebody to, when collectors just do stuff, I like to find some people that collect the stuff. If I have a rare item, and everybody goes, well, you can sell it for so much money and everything else. And I go, well, I'd rather find somebody that collects them and will keep it, you know, in their collection and everything else. I don't want somebody to get it just so they can resell it and rehash it and everything else, because it doesn't mean nothing to them. And I know that sounds crazy because I got stuff that I will sell and everything else, but it's one of those kind of things. It's kind of like, you know, I'm a hypocrite in some ways and not, you know, so... You know, at the same time, there's one gentleman on Facebook. I sent him a rare mail-in order G.I. Joe. I put it together best I could when I found it with with all these 60 GI Joes I have posted on there, and I put it together the best I could, and I fixed it, and I'm hoping that it worked out for you and everything else, because that was all the little parts. I got them together, and then I looked it up. I know it was worth actually a little bit of money and everything else, and he traded me some from the movie Transformers, the Transformers, the movie, not the cartoon, but the live action movie, and a bunch of broken ones. But in all the broken ones, there was at least 4 Transformers that were actually good, and I love the parts. I love having the parts, but they're, I found them, like, that's where I got my part for replacing the fist for Ultra Magnus and everything. So, see, it always helps out. So I'll always, I'll take a broken thing faster than sometimes take something that's fixed, because I kind of like the idea of doing it. And on top of that, fixing stuff. I had a friend just pop up the other day with this here kind of high camera right here. Don't know if you can see that in there. I'm working on it right now, and they have they turn around and they wanted me to fix it, but I didn't get the parts. So there's a fuse or something other. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, there was I like fixing things. A lot of times, this whole purpose I like with video games. I got a ton of them, but I get more enjoyment of fixing them, and then turn around and fixing them, and then turn around and just putting them up and let everybody enjoy them. I had a birthday here recently. All my daughters fixed me up with hooked me up with a power to primes, different models. Let's see, got Blot, I think, one of the little airplanes. They all, it's all the combiners, including a Grimlock, a Swoop, and a Snarl. The other two, I don't think they have them in the stores yet. If they do, I haven't seen them. But they gave me that for my birthday, and so I really appreciate that. So you got all my power to primes combiners and everything else. I did some modifications. I'll have to show you later on. Well, actually, I can show you now on the Grimlock, because they have an empty space on the Grimlock, and you can either pay the $50 or whatever, I didn't even check the price on it, to buy the little filler piece to go in on the Grimlock, right? And you buy the little piece that has the extra chest and everything else. And I actually just used the extra parts I have and just made a filler for myself and everything else that plugs in, and then just cutting metal and everything else, made a metal back stand and everything else that plugs into the back, and then you have no problem. You can move him around. He does all the stuff, and it all stays together. If anybody ever has a Grimlock, these here are the biggest problem with it. They got a clamp from here, the arms fall all over the place. He looks naked right here. It looks like it looks horrible. But so that problem is fixed. I got that fixed. As a matter of fact, I was just doing a little bit more modifications on it, because Swoop here has a problem with the wings. If anybody has them, there is a spot whenever you do the arms, when you transform them into the arms, the legs won't stay together to form the hand and everything else. So I've made this little small bracket here, and it just plugs in, and most of the time it stays on there. And then whenever when I want to transform it, just pop it loose and turn it sideways, and it's actually a steel little bracket right there, so it actually holds that together. So whenever I use the hand, when I plug it in there, it actually holds, and that actually holds as a good arm, as you move it. So just a little quick fixes, things that you can add to the parts and everything else. Found these the other day at a Target. I had a bunch of these little things. That's part of Power to Primes. Yeah, let's see. Am I missing anything here? Let's see. I told everybody thank you. There's one gentleman that I actually sent him. That's where I was talking about. He sent me the Transformers. I don't remember the name. I've been looking it up, and every time I can't seem to find it, but I appreciate it. I appreciate the deal we made. I also want to send out a thank you to my friend Rondo the Great. She came up to me the other day and she gave me this. It's Streets of Rage 2 for Sega Genesis. Works perfect. Label's messed up, I don't care. As long as it plays the game, it's great. And she gave me to that. And she said if I could keep it, she's had her own little library of games that she said I'm holding on for. She's got a Genesis 3 and everything else and a bunch of games. And she said, could you just keep them? And so if I ever, 20 years from now, I'll know that you still have them and they'll be fine. And I said, yeah, I'll take care of them. And I note everything down. Anybody says, can you keep this? I note it down. I put it into the collection and I seal it and make sure it's never messed up after that. Matter of fact, a lot of times I'll clean it up and make it better. Just finished with an Atari 6, or actually just the other day, and did the same thing. Cleaned it up, fixed it, had to rewire the whole thing, and I feel sorry that whoever, it's one of those systems that's so old, if you play it, you break it. It is just, it's that old. I mean, the plastic's fragile, it breaks real easy. And I'm worried that the person I fixed it for, she's going to give it to her daughter. And her daughter, I don't know if she realizes how much the heavy six are actually what they go for and everything else. And I think she's just wanting to give it to her kids to kick around. And I'm like, but it's not my choice. I only get paid to fix it and everything else. And for Miss Carol, I do it. I usually fix it because she'll help me out if she sees any kind of little thing come in. She'll call me and say, hey, we got this little stuff coming in, and you want to check it out and everything else. And they don't cut me a deal on it, but they'll tell me if you give me a heads up on the local stuff in town, you know, if something comes around. So, you know, I fix stuff for everybody and help them out or whatever. That goes to Miss Annette. She's the best lady out there and everything else. And Miss Annette, I always try to help to put some computers together for her, or try to make sure all her electronics work and everything else, because she always tells me when the greatest stuff comes in and everything else. And if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have a G1 collection, because they come in and they mark them for $2 a piece, and I picked up multiple. I picked up the Ultra Magnus. I picked up the Six Shot. I picked up all that. Paid $2 a piece for each one. I think $1 for one of them one time. Megatron, and you know, the gun, you know, and everything else. Paid $1 for them. They came in, they marked them, and then she called me. She said, "Do you like these old things?" And I said, well, "Let me check them out." And I went over there, and she said, "They got them marked for $1 if you want them, or $2." And I picked up, oh Lord, 13 different G1 characters, including Minosaur, complete Minosaur. And at the same time, paid $10 and got 60, almost 70 G.I. Joes and all their accessories. And I'm not a G.I. Joe collector, but I put them together, and that's where that comes along. So either way, no, I just wanted to at least thank the people out there doing this and tell you what's going on. Had a bad kidney stone I was working, had to get out and everything else. Had bad sinus stuff, allergies and everything else. Then I got bit by something that swelled up this arm and this arm while working on something outside. It's a spider bite of some sort. Then I went through the birthday, and then we went through Florence. And Florence is, we're watching the people around here, trying to make sure they cover, and if anybody needs a help over here, including Rondo and the people down at the local town and everything else, we're trying to make sure that if, you know, we're out there to help, you know, try to save some animals. So it's pretty busy and everything else. So, and still fighting with the VA, but well, I don't want to tie up your time, but I'm gonna edit this a little bit. There might be some cuts here and there. Got a new music to go along with this. So I want to get out some more videos, but got to get all this stuff situated out. Got to clear some more stuff outside, and I'll get back to you, and I'll keep you up to date on everything. And well, this is Grimlock gone, and I'm gone.